Hi guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So, I produced a video a couple of days to a week ago, depending on when these two videos come out, basically saying why I sort of wasn't getting on very well with the Tier 7 Carthaginian Cavalry, the mercenary Hippias, something like that. And that was true, and I've been really struggling with them going forwards, and then I think it was almost producing that video that sort of something clicked. I realised that I was probably playing them too much like Roman cavalry and too aggressive, getting caught in bad situations all the time, blobbing, all the things you shouldn't be doing. And since that video, I've really started to enjoy them. I still don't think they're amazing by any stretch, but they really have improved. And then I had just an absolutely fantastic game in them. This game here, we're going to look at in a replay, and I really enjoyed them. So I thought we could all settle down and I will sort of bring them back into favour after I slandered them in the last video. So, let's see how we got on. So I started off on the left flank over by the hayfields. I was a bit nervous, really, because I didn't have any support. There's a couple of other spots people can spawn in here, and no one did. So I felt I was kind of on my own. But we did have this Tier 7 Greek cavalry with us, and there's a unit of pikemen here as well. And then, actually, from the observation, is all we got is some enemy light artillery over here, and some other cavalry. Some Tier 5, one unit of Tier 5 Sarmatian Lancers, which is a premium unit I'd look to do a review on shortly. And these Gunganier Chargers, who start coming up the hill. I say, oh, this could be a good opportunity. If they're going to run towards me, I'll certainly go for them. But they back off before I get a chance to do anything. And I didn't want to go too far down because I knew I was going to be vulnerable to their enemy light artillery. I thought could start to tear me apart pretty quickly. So I ventured back up to the spotting point. But then noticed these Sarmatian Lancers down here at the bottom. I should probably have hung back a little bit more so they definitely didn't see me coming out of here when they entered the long grass, because they've got no visibility now. And I enter the long grass and it's just a perfect lineup for me. And we clip them right in the side. With better control on my part, we could have got both of them. But, you know, I'm not that good, so we didn't. But basically we got one, and I set my third unit off chasing them, because I know from when I was looking at them from the premium unit point of view that they're pretty slow. They have a 6.6 base movement speed and no cavalry dash, anything like that. And so this unit, obviously we just surround and basically slaughter it. It tried to pull through us initially, which didn't work for them, and you know, we cut it down pretty quickly and the whole unit is destroyed. Then obviously, thankfully, Hasdrubal's, one of good abilities of Hasdrubal's is his really quick cooldown, only 13 seconds on his charge. So we're able to not only catch up with these Sarmatian Lancers, but we're able to continually keep popping charges into them. Which is great, and we bring up our 2 more units to give chase. So I was quite pleased with how the game started. You know, we've killed an entire unit of enemy cavalry, and we've got this guy on the run. I'm not quite sure why he didn't just turn into us. Let's just slow down. Didn't turn into us, it seems strange. But then we get these Gunganier Chargers come out of the forest. And they get a reasonable charge into me. Well, actually, quite a good charge, 5,000 to 9,000 damage on me. I was a little bit late in charging, although we did a little bit of damage to them. They then, however, try and pull through me rather than stay for the fight, which is kind of understandable. Obviously, Gunganier Chargers are pretty poor units in hand-to-hand combat. But it does mean I'm able to bring my third unit back round and almost sort of sandwich them into this blob. And we start to rack up a lot of damage pretty quickly, even as they try and escape. Okay, that we get a lot of damage, even though we know they're getting away. I'm still able to get quite a bit of damage against the units. Some of these guys seem to be completely stopped, which they did because they turned on me. But there was a real error on their part. They sort of turned around on me thinking, I don't know, I assume they were going to charge me again. Although with a 60-second, oh no, reduced it, 35-second cool. Oh no, that's cavalry dash. But yeah, 60-second cooldown on the cavalry charge. They wouldn't have been ready to charge me again, so it just presented really me with an opportunity to just charge at them again, which we did. And you know, we've sort of 50%, 70%, and almost destroyed this unit. So we've able to already accrued what 1,900 damage, just from pretty poor play on this part of this guy. And we are able to make use of our charge, a quick cooldown of our charge to again get another slam into them. And with this benefit of these tier 6 equites or equites, they move up and we get stuck in. And these guys just get absolutely cut down. They're completely sandwiched between the two of the units. They could try and perhaps pull out backwards here, but you know, realistically, they've sort of got themselves caught, which is really silly, particularly when they're running with an Arminius and they get the amazing speed, you know, 11 meters per second movement speed, compared to what 7.83 that I get on the Tier 7 Carthaginians. So they could have, if they wanted to avoid this fight, I think they could have. but they sort of loitered around too close for too long, and that sort of really was their undoing. So 2,500 aggression points already. I thought it was going quite nicely, although the game hasn't really sort of tipped in our favour or anything yet. It's still pretty tied. It looks like most of the rest of the team on both sides of the map sort of don't really want to cross the central river. It's really just the cavalry who are engaged in combat. Some of those units of Sarmatian Lancers got involved in a bit of a fight with some of the artillery down here. It looks like they're going to end up routing, which they do. So I was a little short what to do. There doesn't seem to be a lot going on with the rest of the team in the centre, so I returned to my good old faithful spot over here, and lo and behold, would you believe that it's another unit of Sarmatian Lancers nicely bobbing slowly towards me. So I come round to the edge of the forest. I didn't want to go too close. I'm just going to pause here actually, because something for my own benefit. I wanted to see if I switch to Team 1 or Team 2. Will this let me do this? I kind of wanted to see the fog of war element to it. No, it doesn't seem to want me to do it. But anyway, I was trying to see if these guys could actually see me. Ah, there we go. No, they couldn't. That's what I was trying to prove. They couldn't see me coming out of this long grass, which is what I was trying to do. I was trying to hide in this bit here, so they got nice and close before I pounced. Because if I came out of the grass while they were still over here, they'd have quite a long lead on me. But it mattered not, because well, I did a shocking cavalry charge there. What on earth was that? I did very little damage to them. But I don't suppose it really matters, because I am lucky that the cooldown on this is just so quick. It's already cooled itself back down, and I'm ready to charge again. So it's just a case of catching back up with them. Even though we do slightly lose them in the long grass, I don't think it really matters all in all. I use my charge again to actually catch up with them. You see it's already got 7 seconds till it's fully charged again, and I can use my charge again. And we start to get nicely lined up. Are we going to make it before the corner? I can't even remember. No, I go for it before they hit the corner. And we get a bit of damage into the rear. Nothing amazing. But we're damaging them, taking off their 6,000 damage. And we can continue the pursuit. That's the biggest problem with these Sarmatian Lancers, seems to be their speed. Sorry, we're not doing very well with the replay control here, are we? So I obviously at that point I decide then to give up with chasing the Sarmatian Lancers. Right, there we go, we're back sorted with the replay. Because we started to take artillery fire, and I was wondering where that artillery was. As it turns out, in quite a nice position, this artillery had no support with them, no stakes deployed, nothing like that. So I was able to just move through this long grass to give me concealment, and then come out pretty close to these enemy artillery. They see me at the last minute and turn around to face me, but it's too late, it doesn't really matter. And I just get the charge in. And we clip the 14,000 damage straight to the first tier 7 unit, and that guy rats pretty quickly. We end up actually having a little bit of a hard time getting in on this guy properly, because he sort of sandwiched himself right up against the cliff, and I can't really push my cavalry properly through him. So only a few units can fight these guys at once, so it actually takes me quite a long time to get any damage up against these guys. While this is going on, it might have been a wise on my part to split off one of my units to flank round and deal with this enemy light artillery, which is at this time redeploying to turn around to face me. And these guys have sort of sandwiched themselves in amongst all these infantry stakes and barricades. They've made like just an armoured fort. You know, all along they've deployed them. It's a big wall. So we've got them, which are going to start shooting at us momentarily, which there they go. Which is actually going to start becoming a bit of a pain, although they do end up destroying their own allied artillery machines, but I don't suppose it really matters, considering an elephant just ran through them anyway. So we'll continue to rack up damage against them, and I noticed this unit of Sarmatian Lancers, which just never seem to end up dying, seems to be coming back round, so I'm a bit wary of him. But because they have actually a very good charge, quite a high charge impact and impact damage, so they could do quite a lot of damage to us if they get a clean hit. So I am watching them, I think, well, we've about killed these artillery, it's best to turn. I turn, and because I've got a nice clear straight run, whereas they've got to turn the corner, they can't hit their charge because they'll go off at the wrong angle. But I can hit my charge, and we get straight into them. 5,500 damage. They smash and drove the Perseverance, but we outnumber them, and we are a higher tier unit now. So when we get down into the hand-to-hand, you know, we are obviously in the lead. Plus these guys are more like Greek cavalry. They're not super duper hand-to-hand guys. They're more all about that charge. So we basically finish off those Sarmatian lancers, and I'm starting to think, how are we going to deal with this light artillery in the centre of the map, particularly given it's so sandwiched itself in with all these stakes and barricades. So basically I get moving, I'm just like, right, so we've got to go for them. Not really going to be able to escape these guys, and we need to kill these if we want to be able to win this battle. So I send 2 units to attack the stakes and send 1 on a bit of a flanking manoeuvre. These guys attack without too much issue, but these guys kind of get a little bit caught on the barricade and the stakes, and of course they're being shot at the whole time as well. But I'm able to use my 3rd unit to flank round, and along with these equites we're able to actually rout these handlers, and then the odd unit gets caught on the stakes, but by and large we're able to get most of the units through and destroy the stakes and cut these light artillery down pretty quickly. These guys are, however, a little bit harder. They've retreated onto the stakes, so basically any movement on my part kind of results in my cavalry hitting the stakes like that. Oh, some big damage there, and take my sort of poor manoeuvrability. So yeah, that didn't pan out quite so well. So we chase these guys, and these guys here are also protected by stakes. There's just stakes absolutely everywhere, which turn into a bit of a nightmare. I just leave this 1 remaining Sarmatian Lancer. He's not really a threat to me. He'll just be killed at some point. But thankfully we are able to rout these remaining artillery crew, which we kill. That Sarmatian Lancer just gets killed by one of my units at some point. And then we just got this last guy to deal with. But obviously he's quite a good player. I clip a unit on the stakes. Another unit on the stakes. Oh, so much damage. And I can't quite kill him. We're left with 1 man left alive, and he just becomes a pest because I'm actually trying to fight around the stakes, and it's just too hard. So I just sod it. Let's leave him. He's not really a threat to us anymore, and I'm just doing more damage to myself than I am to my enemy. So I'm just looking at what we're going to do. Go to capture the enemy base. I thought, oh well, it looks like we're going to win that anyway. So I'll just head back to our base just in case we can get any extra damage in. But it's been a cracking game. 5,500 aggression damage, 7,000 total points. Yeah, really enjoyed these guys in this game, particularly in that cavalry on cavalry fighting. They seem to perform pretty admirably. And yeah, a really enjoyable game. Just come back. I think we just get a charge in just as we capture the enemy base. Just through our allied units, we get a little bit of damage in, but not a great deal. Before we go, capture the enemy base and win the game. So yeah, I was really pleased with that game. Certainly one of the best games I've had in quite a while, and particularly with these units with Hasdrubal and the Carthaginians. Just over 7,000 aggression points. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. So yeah, basically the point of this video was just to showcase that game and sort of retract my earlier comments about how much I hated these mercenary hippies. Yeah, they're actually pretty decent, and they're still not even fully upgraded yet. I've got the upgraded body armor, which gives me more movement speed and body armor actually, so it's going to make them a pretty decent unit all around. But I'm still looking forward to getting on to the Numidian cavalry at tier 8. That's going to be pretty exciting, particularly with their speed, and getting the javelins back as well, which I'm looking forward to. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Yeah, as I say, panned out pretty nicely that game. Pretty pleased with that. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. What could I have done differently? How could I have got even more points? What would I have done to improve? Give the video a like, subscribe for more Total War Arena content, and I shall see you all on the next episode.